Shalom, shalom. Make sure you brothers, hey, let me know if you can hear me. I can't really check on my phone right now, but shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, giving infinite praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Hakudash. Giving double honors to our apostles and elders of great millstone. Shalom, salutation. The always sincere occupant across the four winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kasama God from the DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Hashem El by Hashem Hakudash, to feed the elect. All right, and shalom to y'all brothers. This is gonna be a quick live lesson, for the hopeful elect of Yahweh by Hashem El all right. So-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the 144,000, the 1/3 spoken up in the book of Revelation, the 7th chapter. All right, that's the selected number to be delivered from the great destruction of Babylon the Great. All right, Babylon the Great being these United States of America. All right, so again, I'm going to make it quick. I had a few precepts, and as you see the title, the title speaks for itself. Perform regardless of the many tribulations. Just a quick synopsis. The reason why I want to go into this is for the brotherhood, of course, sincere men. The thing is that, man, we when we deal with, this truth, there's certain things, there's a standard, there's a requirement, pretty simple, right? As far as like going out in the highways and the edges, pushing this word, putting out videos of edification, and looking out for the brotherhood. All right, so these are pretty standard, all right, set up by Yahweh by Shemel Shah, but of course, with our elders and apostles, a great millstone. Now, the thing is that what comes with this gospel as well is trials and tribulations. All right, we know this, and they never stop coming. All right, trials and tribulation will never stop coming. They keep coming. As you're going through a particular trial, there's already at least another one set up in the backdrop. All right, because Satan is constantly putting in work. All right, Satan is the adversary. He's constantly putting in work. He's not going to give you no rest. Because you vowed that you was going to fight for Yahweh by Shemel Shah's namesake, and you was going to fight for righteousness' sake. So when she make that decision, understand that. Now, what tends to happen, what I've noticed, beginning with myself, and then also, of course, what I've noticed over the years, experience is that when guys are not going through some heavy trials and tribulation, because we always go through trials and tribulation, but when guys are not going through, shalom, going, like that. When guys are not going through heavy trials and tribulation, they find it quite easier, right? It's not really easy, right? They find it quite easier to do these things, right? To keep the standard, come out in the highways and the edges on time, week in and week out, push videos, right, of edification, look out for the brother. But then when the tribulation starts to intensify, right, whether it be within themselves or outside, then all of a sudden you start to see the performance drop, right? You start to see performance drop, and all of a sudden it's no longer as easy for you to do what it is that you've been doing. Why? Because you're in the game now. All right? You with the big boys now, so you've made yourself recognizable, not only to Yahweh by Shemel Shah, but also to Satan and all the different demons. So the synopsis in this video, the main point of this lesson is that just like when you go to work, right? Just like when you clock in and at Esau's plantation, right? Well, even if you have your own business, just like you have to clock in, when you clock in and you go to work and you decide that you sign your name in that data line, in that contract for the job, you have a requirement to still perform. You don't come to your boss and say, hey, listen, I've been fighting with my wife. At home and shit like that. I got all kinds of shit going on, so I can't perform. You know what I'm saying? Nah, not to bring your problems and everything. To deal with it, to still perform regardless of what's going on, because the boss ain't trying to hear it. And the thing is, as Israelites, we know this. We know this. We know that we still got to perform regardless of what's going on when it comes to Esau's jobs, right? And his expectations. But when it comes to Yahweh by Shemel Shah, Jake is all of a sudden forgetting that. So we're going to get some precepts to reaffirm that. Because the Heavenly Father would not allow, and he would not accept a lesser commitment than the commitment that you've given to Esau's plantation. All right. So the first precept that I had was Psalm 61:8. All right, so we're gonna go there, and brothers want to follow if they can. It could, it has to be brought up. It has to be brought up. You know what I'm saying? Because it happens. You know, we all getting our asses handed to us. In this gospel, in this journey. All right. So the first precept was Psalms 61, Psalm 61 and 8, and it says, actually, let me start at 7. It says, "He shall abide before the Most High forever. O prepare mercy and truth, which may preserve him." It says, "So will I sing praise unto thy name forever, that I may daily perform my vows." All right. So we sing and praise the name of Yahweh Shah forever, so that we may daily perform the vows. All right. The vows is when you made that pledge, that vow, to serve Yahweh Shah, to return, to repent, to be a prophet, a servant. You've dedicated your life, to seeing the end of this thing. All right. And there's a standard, and you've understood the standard, but it was a lot easier before Satan, really, the adversary, and all the tribulations started dropping on you like a boulder, basically. All right, so, and when it happens, it's gonna happen, and yes, your performance, and instantly your performance is gonna drop, but it shouldn't stay there. You still have to remember that that's what makes it really, really great, is the fact that through the Spirit, although you're going through these things, right? Whatever, Satan is messing with you with, like I said, you brothers know. All right, you brothers know. You know when you look at a man's face and you're like, man, he's going through it. But and also you look at his performance. You look at his performance as far as like how his standard, and you like, man, his standard is dropping. That means he's going through something really heavy. But still, you still gotta get in there, and you still gotta do it. You still gotta perform it. All right, and that's the key. Because if you drop and you stop and you start to slow down, what's gonna happen is you're not gonna be able to catch up, because the Spirit is constantly moving. It's constantly moving, and the Lord has expectations, and He expects you to still perform while you're getting your ass kicked by Satan, man. He doesn't expect you to just fall back and let your ass get kicked and fall into some depression, right? And all of a sudden you can't do what you're supposed to be doing, all right? So the next precept that I had is Psalm 119 and 106. And like I said, this is going to be quick. I'm not going to make this too long, but it has to be said. It has to be brought up for the elect. I mean, so Psalm 119, 106. Psalm 119, 106. And let me see. And it states, all right, it says, I'm gonna start at 105. It says, "Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." Verse 106 is the point. "I have sworn and I will perform it, that I will keep thy righteous judgments." All right, so when you swear to Yahweh Shem Shai, that's a whole nother level of commitment. You're not just swearing, you put your name in the dotted line in Esau's contract when you wanted a job, and you understand your responsibilities. For brothers that have their own businesses, you understand that, hey man, I know I'm getting my ass kicked spiritually. I'm taking L's, in all kinds of avenues and whatnot, but I still gotta wake up in the morning. I still gotta wake up. I still gotta get out there and get shit done. I gotta get the proverbial bag, so to speak. Well, when it comes to the truth, we know we dealing with a spiritual bag. All right, so you can't give Yahweh Shemal Shah less commitment that you give Edom Esau, right? You can't say, well, you worry more about your bills, right? Because that's what people say, man, I ain't got time for this, man. I know I'm going through this and this and that, but hey, bills got to be paid. Well, that is the same mindset you got to have when you're dealing with Yahweh Shemal Shah, because a tab is going to have to be due when those ICBMs touch down. When the thermonuclear missiles touch down and destroy Babylon the Great, a tab's going to have to be due. You know what I'm saying? When all hell breaks loose, tab's going to have to be due. You got people that are living on borrowed time. You don't want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? So you understand that. You're like, hey, listen, I'm getting my ass kicked, whatever it is. My woman beat a demon. There be demons at my job, and things ain't going right. The sky's falling. Hey, man, listen, even if the sky's falling, man, if you still have breath in you and you able to wake up, all right, and you still have your faculties with you, your spiritual faculties with you, man, There's no excuses, man. You know, am I saying it's easy? Of course it's not easy. And we're going to end up with Timothy, you know, to reaffirm that it's not easy. But it was never meant to be easy. If you was looking for an easy route to the kingdom of heaven, man, you picked the wrong journey. You picked the wrong purpose, man. I'm just keeping a buck with you, man. It's something that the apostles had known, and they told us that. They told us that, man, when we first came in, you know, over a decade ago, man. And it was like, man, now it's like you see it even more now than you know, than we saw it back then. All right. So now the next precept, and I see some beautiful precepts on the comment board. Lord willing, I'll be able to check those out. You know, brothers dropping some bombs, I can tell. Because I know brothers going through it, man. If you ain't going through what I'm talking about, man, you're not in this fight, man. You're not in this fight, man. There's many ups and downs, there's peaks and valleys, man. You know, but don't stay in the valley, man. You always got to get back up. All right, still perform. All right, still perform regardless. I know you catching hell. I know you getting your shit pushed in spiritually. Still perform. Let it not be felt to the best of your ability that you're going through it, because that's hard. That means that the Most High is strengthening your heart. All right. So now let's jump down to this is still Psalms 119, verse 112. All right, 112 states, "I have inclined mine heart to perform thy statutes always, even unto the end." All right, so just like in Isaiah, when Isaiah asked, as a matter of fact, let me get it. When Isaiah asked the Lord, how long are we going to have to, you know, how long do I have to go and push the word, you know, to these knuckleheads, basically? You know, he was talking about Israelites. Well, the Lord gave him an answer. So we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 6, verse 9, all right? And it states, "And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not. And see ye indeed, but perceive not." And that's the job. The job is that you got to constantly go out there and gain and fight against the gainsayers spiritually and gain more souls through the spirit of power, how by Shema Shai. That's the standard. But as the trials and tribulations pile up, because sometimes you get one, sometimes you get two. But every time you have to understand, you become stronger. So stronger tribulations will have to be sent to you so you can develop a stronger resistance. So now you're no longer just dealing with 2 trials at the time. Now you're dealing with 3 trials at the time. And then next you know, you're dealing with 4 trials at the time. All right? So on and so forth. That's the only way for the Lord to maximize, you know, your full potential as we inch closer and closer to, you know, to society breaking down, man, and the type of mentality that we're gonna need to survive, you know what I'm saying, when everything collapses. Because we've been accustomed to the things, man, like having, you know, heat in the house, you know, having taking warm showers, man, you know, having accessible stoves, and man, when all hell breaks loose, man, you might end up being in the woods, man. When's the last time you was in the woods for an extended period of time having to survive? You know, so it takes a certain mentality to do that. And that's the reason why we're going through what we're going through. But it doesn't mean that you're going to stop performing because you're getting your ass kicked, man. How do you, when you get your ass kicked by Satan, man, listen, you gotta get up and fight back. How do you do that? You get back and do what it is that you know how to do. I always tell brothers that. It's like, oh man, I'm down. What's the answer? The answer was always the same. Do what it is that you know how to do. And what is that? Go out in the highways and the edges. Keep pushing this word. Keep studying, even when you don't feel like it. And then eventually you will see, man. The tables are going to turn. You know, it's a process. All right. So I'm going to go back again. This is Isaiah chapter 6 and 9. It says, "And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not. And see ye indeed, but perceive not." All right. "Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert, and be healed." All right. So the Lord put a block into the minds of the 2/3. All right. You know, if you know about this gospel, you know the majority of Israel, they slated to not understand this gospel. They're rebellious at heart, and they're rebellious at heart. It is their destiny. There's nothing they can do about it. But our job is to still go out there and preach this word. All right. Verse 11. Now it says, "Then said I," this is Isaiah's question. "Then said I, Lord, how long? Meaning, how long am I gonna have to do this, man? How long do I have to keep going out the highways and the edges, putting up these, these videos of edification, as I'm getting my asses handed to me, and all my endeavors, so to speak. All right. It says, "Then said I, Lord, how long?" And he answered, "Until," and this is the answer, "until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate." So you got to keep doing this until the missiles are shot up, right? And all hell is broken loose. A lot, millions of souls have already perished in the Third World War, and the diseases and the pestilence, all right? And then you still have breath, and you're going to be catching more hell, but we're going to be in a different state of mind, because we're going to be ready. The Lord's going to make sure we're ready and we're taken care of and protected. But we still going to be meeting people. We still going to be meeting elect at the 11th hour. We're going to run into elect at the 11th hour. The angel's going to send us to elect at the 11th hour. So there's still going to be work to do, all right? But in that time, a lot of the stuff that we deal with, a lot of BS that we deal with, like paying bills, dealing with, the women being, out of order, dealing with the, even within the brotherhood, some of the BS that goes on within the brotherhood, which is all due to the fact that the wicked society is still running, and fear, death, and carnage hasn't started yet. So people tend to, worry about bullshit. You know what I'm saying? When it's so-called peaceful times, people tend to nitpick on bullshit, But all that shit gonna stop when the blood starts spilling in the streets and guts and all that, man. A lot of that shit's gonna go away, man. All that petty bullshit is gonna go away, all right? Amongst the elect brothers, all right? Because the rest, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. All right, so now let's get back on. This is the next precept with Psalms chapter 37, Psalm 37:5. All right, it's some beautiful precepts, man. I'm gonna try to make this quick so I can hit these precepts and we can keep going, facing the next adversity, man. Cause that's what it's about. That's what it's about, man. Don't pray for the Lord to not send you adversity. Pray for the Lord to give you the strength to overcome these adversities, man. We're not here to just run around obstacles, man. We here to run through obstacles, man. Man, listen, man. That's not what you're looking for, man. So Psalm 37:5. And I know that I speak from experience, man. I used to pray for the Lord to just get these adversities away from me, man. But then you realize that you can't get to your maximum potential when you're running away from shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's just saying no way to live as a man, You gotta keep looking for the next level, all right? All right, so Psalms 35 and 37:5, so like 37:5, it says, let me see, is that 35 or 7? Let me see. I want to make sure I got it right. Let me see. 37, Psalm 37:5. Make sure I got that right. 37:5. Just bear with me. There you go. Yeah, I got it. All right, Psalms 37:5. It says, "Commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass." All right, so I'm going to read that again. Psalms 37:5. "Commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass." So whatever you're going through, and you're looking for answers, you might be dropping the performance level. It doesn't mean the Lord is like removing his spirit away from you. It's just it's adversity. It's supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like you get hit, like the instant reaction is to fall. You know what I'm saying? So, but you got to get up. You know what I'm saying? You got to get up. But you're gonna be looking for answers, and a lot of times, Jake tries to be too brainstormy about stuff, man. Sometimes the answer. That's why we speak about repetition. The answers is in the same thing that you've been doing over and over. It's just you fail to understand. There's levels to understanding of those same precepts that you've been calling and naming for years and years. They hit different when you get to different levels, basically, to be blunt. That's why you have to keep coming back. You have to keep doing the same thing over and over. That's always going to be the answer. Not some magical new stuff I'm not gonna take, hey man, hey, go to the go to the river somewhere, on a mountain somewhere, and fast and pray, like the men of the Lord did in the ancient times. We not in that, everything now is more spiritual. When you have to go to the mountain, that means you have to go into deep meditation. I mean, you don't have to just maybe fall back, get into some prayers. You don't have to go to some mountain with trees and cleanse yourself and all that. That ain't the answer, man. It's meditation and getting back to doing what it is that you do and show consistency. All right, so next precept, Proverbs 16:3. The book of Proverbs, chapter 16. The book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 3. And it states, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. All right, so a lot of the issues that we have is thoughts related, because a lot of the trials and tribulation that we go through, they really do affect us, but they affect us more so spiritually and mentally, and more so mentally. All right, because the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. So, and the flesh is related to the mind, the thoughts of the mind. So you get weakened and you start brainstorming, you start thinking about, man, like what, and then you forget, you know what I'm saying, the main reason why these things is happening is because of your first love, is because of your dedication to this gospel. So the answer is always going to be about ramping up the work. Like me personally, when Satan starts kicking my ass really heavy, I understand, well, hey man, listen, I got to do more. Because that's the only way to get back at him. You can't throw hands with the dude. He just sends out plots and stuff, and he sits back and laughs. As you fall into depression, and you don't want to do nothing about nothing. He just sits back and laugh, and it's like, nah, man. That's just not balance. The balance is he's gonna take his licks, you're gonna take your licks. So how do we take our licks in the spirit? We keep doing what we're doing. We keep the performance at the same level, or even higher. Okay, that's how you do it. All right, so so I read that. Corinthians 7:21. All right, so let's go. Now we're gonna go to the point that I made earlier about clocking in, because that is to me that is, I mean, it doesn't get more obvious than that. I mean, if that's a term I can use, as far as the performance of how Yahweh Shemel Shah would not allow any commitment that you've made in this world, right, to survive. He's not going to allow you to give him less, for your ultimate salvation that you've given to Esau to survive and pay your bills. All right. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 21, and it states, "Our thou called being a servant, care not for it, but if thou mayest be made free, use it rather." Right? For he that is called in the Lord, being a servant, is the Lord's free man. All right. So yeah, we're the Lord's free man. We're free, but yet you're never truly free. You're always serving somebody. You just gotta understand who you rather serve. You rather serve Esau, or you rather serve Yahweh Shemel Shah. Now you're forced to serve Esau because you're a physical slave. All right, we're not spiritual slaves. We're not mental slaves, but we're still physical slaves, and we still have responsibilities. So that's why we still got to clock in. We still got to work, even when we don't feel like working. We still got to work, even if we got the sky's falling. We still got to make sure that the business is taken care of, so we can pay our bills. Because the boss ain't trying to hear none of that. You tell you straight up, you're a grown man. Like, hey man, we all got shit we gotta deal with. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's the same thing with your whole body, Shemel Shah. You still gotta perform, even though you're going through what you're going through. But if you commit to your whole body, Shemel Shah, guess what? Those things you're gonna end up on the other side victorious. All right. It says, verse 22 again, 1 Corinthians 7:22. For he that is called in the Lord, being a servant, is the Lord's free man. Likewise, also he that is called being free is a Mashiach's servant. All right. Ye are bought with a price. Be not ye the servants of men. All right. So it's inconceivable. It's inconceivable that you would dedicate the majority of your life paying taxes to Esau and making sure that whoever you work with, or even if you got your own business, making sure that you keep that standard regardless of feelings, regardless of what you're going through. But yet, when it comes to the biggest thing in the history of the universe, you know what I'm saying, which is being a prophet of Yahweh Shai, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? If you having that problem, you gotta ask yourself, like, who do I serve more? You know, who do I serve more? Whose standard am I willing to keep? You know, at a high level, all right, performance wise. You know, do I fear Esau's retribution for not handling my business, right? Do I fear that more than I fear Yahweh Shai retribution for not handling my business? You know, these are things a man has to ask these questions for himself, man. All right. Now the next precept is First Corinthians chapter 9 verse 18. It says, "What is my reward then? Verily, that when I preach the gospel, I may make the gospel of Mashiach Yahushua without charge, that I abuse not my power in the gospel." Verse 19, that's the point. "For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all, that I might gain the more." So, you know, and that servitude is the gospel, all right? So we're servants to Yahweh Shai, and so we expected to perform, all right? Okay, and the last precept, like I said, is of course 2 Timothy, you know. And like I stated, man, you read these precepts, you can never get tired. You can never get tired of reading these precepts, man. You can never get tired. I mean, because like I said, they always, depending on where you at spiritually, they always hit different. All right. This is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 1. It says, "Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Mashiach Yahushua, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses. The same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also." So, you know, when we whatever we're going through, that's why it's important for you to constantly push in the work. You know, it's about not just pushing out breakdowns, but properly, you know, breaking down the word, but giving a greater understanding through your own experiences. So all these adversities that you're going through, you shouldn't slow down on how you do the work, because what tends to happen, and you brothers know this, when you go through adversities, lessons usually come out of that, right? The lessons could come out of those adversities, and sometimes you sharing with brothers live what you're going through. You're not going into specific details, but you're showing live, sharing live, and you're bringing out precepts. And as you're bringing out precepts that are dealing with this trial and tribulation, as you edifying others, you being edified, because at the end of that lesson, you fall back and you're like, damn, man, you know, I'm starting to see the picture. You know, so that's why you have to keep doing. That's what the answer is, to keep doing the work, keep that performance going, regardless of you know, what you're going through. All right. Verse 3, it says, "Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Mashiach Yahushua. No man that worth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who has chosen him to be a soldier." So yeah, we are prophets. We're prophets first. You know, but at the end of the day, we be soldiers, you know, because there's a huge responsibility put on our shoulders, you know, by our master, you know, dear Mashiach Yahushua, you know, to finish this work. All right, we have a whole entire nation, really beginning with the elect, and you have men and women and children that you know, that you have to basically understand that that's how big this thing is. It's bigger than paying bills. It's bigger than all this nonsense that's going on. So if you understand that and you shoulder that burden, you know, it would encourage you, you know, to do what you're supposed to do, to handle your business, basically. All right, and the reward is gonna be so great, man. It's gonna be so magnificent. You know, you're gonna look back and be like, man, I'm glad I didn't give up. You know what I'm saying? So let me see if I can check the top notch. Let me see if I can bring hide all messages are visible. Alright, so I was able to, let me see if I can bring some precepts here. Because the brothers, man, you know, listen, the brothers on it already. Hey man, I'm gonna read as much as I can. Man, it's a lot that came out. Damn. Alright. Well, I'm gonna start with the most recent ones. Alright. So of course, GMS Faith, Grace, Election, Shalom, Yapshak. So 2 and 5, it says, for gold is tried in the for gold is tried in the fire and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. That's right. That's right. I mean, hey man, listen. So the second chapter, you've been in this truth long enough. You already know, man. That's a lifesaver. When I'm looking for answers, man, and I need to go in my mountain, so to speak. Yeah, that's where I go. You know what I'm saying? Proverbs 25 and 4, it says, take away the draws from the silver. JMS, we got next. Shalom, my brother, Shalom. You know, hey, Lord willing, you know, we get to see each other. Proverbs 25 and 4, take away the draws from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finer. Absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely, but it's only going to happen through trials and tribulations. So, man, let's not ask to run away from these. Let's ask for the Lord to give us strength, you know, to overcome. Because Yahweh Shah said, I fear not, for I have overcome the world. He didn't say, fear not, for I ran away. I escaped from the world. He overcame the world. He faced it. You know what I'm saying? And he won. GMS, mouth your eyes, shalom, y'all checked out. Also make a way, well, I think in 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, there has no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. That's right, but the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear. Right, and the word escape right there is really to find the answer. You know, it's not escape as far as like running. It's finding the answer, because that's all we want, man. When a man goes through something, man, you only looking for answers. That's the reason why you down and out, because you being blasted and you looking for answers. All right. Hey, Shalom, Ashbel 144, GMS North Carolina 777. Hey, y'all was like that, brother, elder brother right there. 2 Timothy 1 and 8. Be not thou therefore ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of me his prisoner, but be thou partakers of the affliction of the gospel according to the power of the Most High. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Being afflicted is always a sign that you're still in the game, baby. You're still in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. Daily edification 4. Hey, oh, damn. Shalom to the apostle. Shalom. The topic we are shaping, absolutely. And the apostle Kabar, absolutely shaping adversity. I mean, that's a man right there. I personally kicked it with him, and I've seen some adversity, really, you know, and I seen him, hey, man. Yeah, man. Private stuff, man. Shalak Lamath, my brother, of course, Big Z. Romans 5 and 3, and not only so, but we glory in tribulation, also knowing that tribulation work of patience. Absolutely, brother. I'm a one-night body. Y'all about that, bro. Everybody smack the dash, brother, with everything you're going through. I know you know what I'm talking about, brother. 2 Corinthians 4:18. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, but the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. All right. So yeah, it's just so many precepts, and my arms starting to go numb. But hey, listen, I'm gonna close out right here. You know, for the brothers that do that miss it through the spirit, you can always catch it on the playback. I just want to get into it, and like I said, the main point of this video was that perform regardless of the many trials and tribulation. You know, the commitment that you give Esau and this place when it comes to paying bills and working. Regardless of what you're going through, Yahweh Shah expects the same thing, you know, to still perform, still put in work, still put out content, spiritual content, regardless of what you're going through. And that's where you're going to find your answers for your trials and tribulation. All right, so with that, I'm going to close out and say, Kal Halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaKodash. All right, of course, giving double honor to our apostle. It was a great millstone. Shalom, salutation. Jesus said, Akim across the four winds, pushing his truth and sincerity of heart. You know, I know without a doubt, man, this video was edifying for you. Definitely edifying for me. Because, again, we speak from experience. Hey, stay strong. You know, have courage. The scripture says, be ye of good courage, and the Lord shall strengthen the heart. All right? Hey, because I'm God from the DC Kit. Shalom.